If you're anything like me, this is a very important week for you. And why is that? Well, because the new Star Wars movie is being released in theaters this week. And in the Netherlands it's actually opening tomorrow, and of course I have tickets to go see the movie. Since it's Star Wars week, I thought it would be fun to take a look at one of the newer Star Wars sets, which is BB-8. I had this set for actually a couple of months now, but I never got around to building it. But I thought, well, you know, with the new Star Wars movie closing in, I really have to build this now. And I have to say, it's a very good build. Hello Kitty! But, you know, with the new Star Wars movie closing in, I decided to build it. And I have to say, it's a very good build. So you'd expect a lot of repetitive building with this BB-8, but it's really not as much the case as you'd think. I mean, there is some repetitive work, mostly with the sides and the top and the bottom. But inside is actually a really complex mechanism that is made out of Technics, and well, that's the base of the structure. But also to make the mechanism to make his head turn like this, so you can turn it around. I thought it was really fun. And it's also the mechanism to have his lighter coming out, just like in the movie. There we go. And here you can actually see a little bit of the mechanism in there. So that's a really cool addition, and well, the lighter thing is just like in The Force Awakens, and I really like that. These mechanisms are also the reason this is not really a build for younger kids. I mean, the box already says 10 to 16, and trust me, that's really true. I mean, for young kids, you have to have an adult in there with it to help, because I actually thought it was quite the difficult part to build, those inside mechanisms. And you need to pay a lot of attention to detail. I mean, it's totally worth it, but it's not that easy. Well, like I said, there is some repetitive work. Therefore, you do feel like you're doing the same thing over and over again. That can get a little bit boring. It's not too bad, but at some point you're like, yeah, okay, I get what we're doing here. Of course, there are some small differences. I mean, the bottom doesn't need a hole where, well, the head attaches. That's only on the top. The front does need a hole so the lighter can come outside, but you know, the basics there are all the same. However, if we look at all the details, I think it's actually really close to the actual BB-8. I mean, you have like all the orange details from the real one, you have the lighter, which is a great touch. And why? Because that came from like the actual movie. I also love like the eye. I mean, the eye, it's a small detail, but it's an important one if you want to make this build lifelike. I mean, they say the eyes are part of the gateways to the soul, and in this case that's kind of true, especially with BB-8. And they really did a good job on that. I mean, it really looks good and gives it just a little bit extra. It really makes it come out, make it lifelike. And the same goes for the antennas, which is also like tiny detail, but an important one. I really love that you can move his head and that it turns around, because that really lets the entire thing come to life. So that's really a good part of it. And the entire build rests on a special stand, and you will also make that from Lego, of course. I'll show you if I take BB-8 off. There we go. And they actually use some slope pieces over here to make sure he doesn't roll off, and there's some tiles here, so that works out pretty well. The build is also heavier than you would think. It's actually quite heavy, but it works. I actually thought the BB-8 itself would be a little bit bigger. I mean, there's a minifig in front of it, and that shows you how big this thing really is. I mean, it's huge if you compare it. I mean, there's the tiny minifig over here, and then this is the entire build. So that's a pretty big thing. I actually thought that it would be bigger. But this size is actually really good. I mean, if it was any bigger, it would have been hard to place it, well, somewhere in the house. But now it fits just fine. Next to BB-8 is a small card with some information about the build, like the size and stuff. I actually like this part least because it's a sticker, and it would have been better if it was a printed tile, but it's not, and you can't have everything. I know, but I'm not really a big fan of stickers, so that's a bit of a letdown. But I do think the BB-8 looks really great. I mean, the end product is well worth the build with some repetitive work. It's a great display piece if you love Star Wars, and it has some fun moving parts. And Well, I think LEGO really did a good job to make this as lifelike as possible. Well, now I'm set for the all new Star Wars movie, which I'll be seeing tomorrow. I hope the movie is just as great as this BB-8 is, or even better. So let me know in the comments if you're going to see it and if you're going to build this BB-8, either beforehand or afterwards. And if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you don't want to miss any of my videos, click subscribe. And I'll see you guys next time, and may the Force be with you.